Or feel like, I don't know, success is this like far off land, you know? You see others making it, but the path for yourself seems, well, non-existent.
Yeah.
Today, we're diving into the life of Aziza Keon,
Okay.
a woman who went from crafting dresses in her village, like literally in her village,
Wow.
to dressing A-listers.
Yeah.
And trust me, her journey is anything but a straight line.
Right. And what's so intriguing right from the start is this therapy transcript we're looking at. It's raw, it's vulnerable, and it really gives us a peek behind the curtain of her public persona, of Aziz's public persona, revealing the person shaped by ambition, but also like shaped by forces she may not even fully grasp.
Exactly. This isn't just a, rags to riches fashion fairy tale.
Right.
It's a deep dive into psychology, ambition, and that blurred line between like what we choose for ourselves and what's chosen for us.
Yeah. And that's where this document gets really, really fascinating. Because, for example, we see early on how Aziza, even though she graduates, like top of her class.
I know, right?
Experiences this kind of, post-college disillusionment.
Yeah.
It's something I think a lot of listeners can probably relate to, that feeling of what now?
Totally. She's back home,
Yeah.
surrounded by family, but feeling totally out of sync.
Yeah.
It's like she's yearning for something more, but that, like, what that more is totally elusive to her at this point.
Right.
She even mentions, like, feeling envious of old classmates who seem to have it all figured out.
Of course. Yeah. It's so easy to compare.
Right.
Yeah. And it's interesting, though, because this is where her brother, Akita, steps in,
Okay.
He becomes this, like, grounding force, reminding her that comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
It's like his advice isn't about chasing somebody else's version of success.
Right.
It's about being present, practicing gratitude, and like rediscovering her own creative spark.
And that's the turning point, right?
Yeah, totally.
She transforms a pair of old leggings into a dress.
It's amazing.
I mean, sure, it might not be ready for Fashion Week just yet, but
Right.
but you can just like practically feel the excitement coming off the page when she describes that moment.
Like-
The light bulb went off.
Absolutely. And you see, like, the language itself shifts here. It becomes infused with this sense of purpose and almost this like frantic energy. She devours design books, masters different sewing techniques. It speaks to that obsession that often like fuels creative breakthroughs.
Totally.
Yeah.
And boom, Rasasi is born.
Love it.
But as anyone who started a business knows, passion only gets you so far. You need more than a great product, right? You need the right location, marketing savvy.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. And Aziz's shop, well, it's not exactly drawing in the fashion elite.
Yeah. And here's where we see the influence of relationships, and particularly Aziz's bond with her best friend, Erica.
Okay.
Erica, the life of the party, also possesses this like really sharp business acumen.
She's the one who pushes Aziza to think bigger, bolder, and to really leverage her connections. And let's be honest, who hasn't needed that friend who's not afraid to deliver a dose of tough love?
Oh, absolutely. Erica becomes this catalyst, pushing Aziza outside her comfort zone and ultimately setting the stage for, well, Rasasi's meteoric rise.
Yeah.
But remember that hidden narrative we talked about?
Oh, yeah.
Buckle up, because as Aziza is about to learn, success often comes with a price.
Yeah.
And there are forces at play far more intricate and frankly unsettling than just a challenging business landscape.
Right. It's amazing, isn't it? Like how the document shows those connections. Erica, true to her word, leverages that network, and bam, suddenly we're reading about Aziza's designs being worn by like Bambi Jacobs.
No.
It's like a brilliant strategic move.
Right.
Talk about a game changer, right?
Right. That catapults Rasasi right into the spotlight.
It's like the ultimate who you know moment, and it really says something about like the way power works in the fashion industry, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
But it also makes you wonder, what did that favor like cost Erica? The document only kind of hints at like the potential price of that kind of rapid success.
Exactly. And that's like a key thing here. As Aziz is navigating this new world, right? Runway shows, celebrity encounters, the transcript starts to reveal this like growing unease in her. Yeah, there's the thrill of the success, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's also this like palpable sense of isolation creeping in. Does that make sense?
Totally. And this is where her relationship with Erica actually becomes even more complicated.
Oh, how so?
So Erica, always pushing those boundaries, right? Gets involved with Tom Claude.
Oh, wow.
The very designer who helped to elevate Aziz's brand. Talk about a tangled web.
Wow. Yeah. What's really interesting here is like how the document portrays Aziz's reaction to that whole thing,
Right.
because it's not just about like the betrayal, though obviously that's there.
Right.
It speaks to this like deeper fear almost. It's like she's realizing that the world she's stepped into, it operates by this whole different set of rules.
Right.
One where loyalty and friendship are like fluid, disposable even.
It's such a stark contrast, right, to those earlier parts of the document where their bond, like, it felt unbreakable.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, naive in its optimism.
Yeah, yeah. And this is where Benjamin Faraday enters the picture.
Ooh, right. Okay.
Yeah. A man, I gotta say, shrouded in mystery.
Yes.
Like from the get-go.
See, and this is what I love. Remember how we were talking about that, like that hidden narrative?
Yeah, yeah.
This is where it all starts to come together. Benjamin with his like, that quiet intensity, and he just has this like this air of knowing more than he's letting on. He just like embodies that whole underlying current of something darker at play. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally get that. It's like he's almost like he's been watching her.
Yes.
Orchestrating events from the shadows, and the fact that like he's the one to actually reveal the truth about the order.
Right.
It makes you question everything about him.
Yeah.
Like from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's such a chilling realization. And the way the document like describes the order, their reach, their influence, like it's like something out of a conspiracy thriller or something.
All right, tell me more.
It's like they control politicians, celebrities, even like fashion icons like Tom Claude. It's like, how deep does this rabbit hole actually go?
It's crazy. And this is where the transcript takes another like really unsettling turn. The revelation that like Erica's death,
oh my gosh, yes,
wasn't an accident. The pathologist report, the hushed warnings about like ritualistic markings, it creates this atmosphere of like paranoia. You feel it.
Yeah.
It's like this feeling that nowhere and no one is safe.
The stakes just got incredibly real.
Right.
And Aziza, now like trapped in this web of power and deceit, is forced to confront like the true cost of her ambition.
Yeah. It's like a very real and very stark reminder that, the pursuit of success, it can come at a terrible price. And sometimes even achieving our dreams, it's not enough to outrun the darkness that might be lurking beneath the surface.
I don't know about you, but like reading this part of the transcript, the weight of this whole, like the secret society, the order, it's palpable.
Yeah.
It's like uncovering their existence just cracked open Aziza's reality, like revealing this whole other world where like power operates in the shadows.
Right. And it's important to remember here that like we're looking at this through the lens of a therapy session.
Right.
So Aziza recounting all these events, she's grappling not just with the events themselves, but with the impact of them on her psyche, on her.
Totally.
This isn't just a story; it's a life, being examined in a way.
And what a life it's become, right? I mean, she's living this like opulent, like beyond your wildest dreams kind of life.
Right.
But she's married to a man who, and let's just be honest, is kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
In his like calculated control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this isn't love as much as it is like gilded captivity.
Exactly. She's surrounded by luxury, but you really get this sense from the document of this almost suffocating isolation.
Right.
Right? Like even her attempts to like distance herself from the order are met with these like subtle threats, like little reminders that they control the board, so to speak.
Ugh. And that whole part with Haley, the figure skater.
Oh, tell me about it.
So chilling.
Yeah.
Like, not only does it just totally underscore, like, reinforce the order's reach, but it also casts doubt on Erica,
Right.
Was she a pawn in all of this, or was she playing the game, too?
Right. And that's one of the things that I find so unsettling about this whole thing is this underlying suggestion that, like, ambition, it can be this corrupting force that leads people to make choices they never thought possible,
Oh, absolutely. And what's more, it really makes you think, like, would we, if we were in her shoes, faced with those same impossible choices, would we actually make different ones?
It's a question, isn't it?
It really makes you think.
Yeah.
And then the ending, right. Aziza using the Order's own tactics against them, ensuring her her children's safety by, well, we know,
Yeah.
sacrificing Christine.
It's brutal. It's morally complex, and it definitely leaves you with this, like this lingering sense of unease. Like, I don't know. Did she do the right thing? I don't know.
Yeah, and then it just ends like
Oh.
right there,
Right.
like so abruptly.
Leaves you hanging, doesn't it?
It really does, and we're left with this like, well, what happened next? Like, did she find any peace, or is she like forever haunted by the price of her success?
The question with no easy answers, that's for sure.
It really is. It really is. I think, this deep dive, it wasn't about, finding those simple resolutions or
No.
those clear-cut heroes and villains,
Okay, yeah.
It really forced us to confront this really uncomfortable reality that ambition, even when it's realized, can come at such a devastating cost.
Well, and we started right with this talented, young woman sewing dresses, dreaming of a brighter future.
Mm-hmm.
And through this document, through this transcript, we've journeyed into the heart of power, ambition, and those often like really blurry lines
Yeah.
between our choices and the forces that are shaping our lives from outside ourselves even.
So as we close this chapter of the deep dive, we're left with this question, how do you define success?
Mhm.
And what price, if any, are you willing to pay?